Hey everybody, my name's John Lunn, aka Jonnychipz, and can you believe this is my third week of doing these Jonnychipz Weekly update videos? It's the 15th of January 2021, so let's get started. So yeah, hi everybody, thanks so much for tuning in again. I'm overwhelmed really with the support that I've had over the last few weeks with everything that I've been doing in the community with work and just with my social media following and my YouTube as well. It's been really good fun so far, and obviously this is my third Jonnychipz Weekly video that I've put together. Some of you may have noticed that I've kicked off another YouTube series called In Conversation With, and I'll discuss that a little bit later on in this video. For those of you that have seen my previous videos, you know this is a bit of a journey for myself. This isn't something that I've done a lot of in the past, so I'm learning lots of new tips and tricks as we go. So bear with, I'm bound to have some technical difficulties, but if you like what you see, please like, subscribe, stick the notification button on your YouTube subscription, so you can obviously be notified every time I release a video. The support I've had over the last couple of weeks has been phenomenal. Just when I kind of focus a little bit more on the content creation. Clearly there's some rough edges that I need to iron out over time, but hey, that's what this process is about. Okay, let's kick on then. So what I've tried to do with this weekly video now is try and structure it into set containers so that we can discuss specific aspects of the world of Azure and the cloud family, the community, the bits that I've got going on the side, and of course things like In Conversation With and the other content that I'm trying to create at the moment. So on that note, let's kick straight on. So we're going to flick over to the desktop and we are going to make a start with taking a look at the Azure Updates. So this week we've had a couple of updates, I think 3. So to make a start, the first one is the public IP SKU is now the upgrade that you can move from a basic public IP up to standard has now gone GA. So for those of you that might not understand what that actually means, if you flick over to have a little look at what the SKUs are for public IPs in Azure, typically it used to be that when you assigned a public IP to a particular device, whether that be a VPN gateway or an app gateway or firewall, if you had a basic SKU, you couldn't change that later on. So basically this upgrade is to say that it now is supported that you can update that public IP using PowerShell, Azure command line, and ARM templates and all sorts. So great GA. Next update. So I read a little bit about this. I won't profess to know the exact details of this because I've not necessarily used this in any great detail myself, but this has gone into preview now. So I've had a little read through this. So view change data through Azure Monitor Workbook integration with application change analysis. So my understanding of what has gone into preview here is the ability to, if you're monitoring lots and lots of estate, lots of infrastructure, lots of objects within Azure, clearly if there are problems that Azure Monitor flags or alerts, and you may have a SOC or a wallboard or something like that is showing those alerts, I believe what this change data is trying to do is to surface using things like the graph and the deep knowledge of Azure, to surface exactly what has been changed in the last X amount of time. So you can kind of hopefully try and put that failure or issue or warning into some form of context. So in other words, if there's an alert that flags up, part of this using the Azure Monitor Workbooks is that you can configure it to show you what actually has changed in my environment in that time that may be related to that particular issue. So great. Like I said, I've not actually looked at it in any great detail myself, but you can see here, if you click on the link on my blogs, my jonnychipz.com blog, there's a link that will take you straight through to Azure Updates, and click on the Learn More to learn more about it. I think the third and final update for this week is, again, not another one that I've really looked at in any great detail. It's been released this week, but monitoring our Azure Data Explorer clusters with Azure Monitor Insights has gone into public preview. So like I say, I'm not going to profess to dig into this in any great shakes because I need to read up a little bit about it myself, but it's great to flag these things. I do always try and jump on that Azure Updates a couple of times a week just to see the kind of things that are coming through. Sometimes the obviously because of the diverseness of Azure, some of these updates may not be relevant to your line of work, but it's always nice, I find, to just have a little bit of a knowledge that, in conversation or when something comes up, you just got that little light bulb moment, think, I remember seeing something about that. So obviously, if it's not of your concern day one, when you see that, at least go back and take a look at it. So there we go. So there are Azure updates for the time being. So the next section that I wanted to stick into was really looking at what I've got going on with the great guys and gals at the Welsh Azure user group at the moment. And all I can say is, wow, there's such a lot going on at the moment. So if you bear with whilst I just quickly pull up the relevant details on my screen, and we'll flick back to my desktop. So basically, if you've been following again on my social media, you'll see that I'm one of the co-organisers with the Welsh Azure user group. There's a bunch of us, all from the South Wales and surrounding area, that at the moment, like a lot of user groups, we're still in a virtual context. So we're getting some great speakers on, doing a few sessions. We got some Kahoot quizzes. We got some great prizes. As you can see, we're sponsored by Servant and Admiral, which have been hugely supportive of our user group for the last sort of 6 months or so. We've got our Jan meetup coming. So our Jan meetup obviously is coming on the 21st Jan, which is next Thursday. So please, there's links. If you look at the description below, I put a link to my blog article that will give you all the links to these RSVPs and all the things that I've just spoken about as your update. Take a look at that. I put the relevant links on. Please sign up for the Jan event. If I quickly, I'm on the wrong page as it happens, but if I quickly take a look at our Jan event, I can give you a bit of a heads up as to what we've got going on there. So we've got 2 talks going on in January. We've got our first talk is going to be taken by Graham Martin, who's a cloud solutions architect from Microsoft. He's going to be taking us through obviously what the updates are with Azure Synapse and Azure Purview, which was obviously released just before Christmas from a data governance and collection perspective. So, I mean, personally, I'm really looking forward to that talk because I've not had a chance to look into that in any great detail at the moment myself. And then the second talk is we've got Christos Matskas, who's a senior PM from Microsoft in Identity. I mean, this talk sounds so intriguing, but Identity is one of those things that you use on a daily basis. He's going to take us through what it means from a developer's perspective and what you can do with identity management, Azure Active Directory. So again, we've got 2 really strong talks for you next week. So like I say, there's prizes to be won, some good prizes to be won. It's a bit of fun. We've got a great community spirit there. There's some great regular guys from the community that join that call. Be one of them. So yeah, check the link below and sign up to that. Also, moving on from Jan's meetup, I'm not going to announce it on this video, but I've got some really exciting news to kind of show for our Feb meetup. If you go to our meetup.com events page, whilst I'm just trying to find it, if you click on the Feb event, you'll see that we're starting a little bit earlier for the Feb event, 6 p.m. All I can say is those guest speakers are going to be announced very soon. Watch this space. I'm as excited as I possibly can be. Feb's going to be another great event. In fact, it's going to be... Well, I'm saying no more. Just watch this space. And from there, the final thing that I really wanted to talk about from the Welsh Azure user group is you would have noticed, again, on the Welsh Azure user group Twitter feeds and LinkedIn feeds, you would have seen that we put out a call for speakers. So from March, we thought we'd change it up a little bit. So this week, we put out a call for speakers looking at arranging some lightning talks in March, and the response we've had has been phenomenal. Thank you so much for everybody that has submitted some sessions, as going to give you time up to come on. The aim of the lightning talks really was to give the community the chance to kind of come on, give a quick talk about something specific around the Azure spectrum. Ideally, if you're a newbie to talking, if it's something that you really wanted to do but just didn't have the courage to kind of or the content to speak for 45 minutes or an hour, lightning talks are a great way to get into kind of speaking and being able to just put an idea across in 10 or 15 minutes. So what we said, we've had an overwhelming response is the idea behind this now so far, but we're not closing that just yet. If you want to speak, please do submit the session. If we get, a lot of content, then clearly, the idea is we're going to do something with it. When obviously clearly we can't put everybody on in one night because there are only so many hours in the day, but we will get back to every one of you that submitted. Like I say, thanks so much for those that have already submitted ideas and sessions. It's still open. We're going to leave it open for the foreseeable, at least up until the March, the February talk. So again, there's the link. If you want to speak, please do jump on in. So there we go. That kind of wraps up my bit around the Welsh Azure user group. Like I say, some really good things happening with the Welsh Azure user group at the moment. We've got a great bunch of guys and gals that are helping arrange that. Really exciting news. I'm hoping that I can announce it later today on behalf of the group, what's going on for the March talk. But if it's not later today, it'll certainly be over the weekend. So yeah, watch this space. Okay, so next section to my update. I want to do a little bit of a section around community call out. Now, name drop alert, Chris Reddington, watch your weekly update. Great setup. I mean, I've stolen this purely from Chris mentioning me in his weekly update. A great idea, I thought. I spend a lot of time, as a lot of us guys do, within the community spirit. We're on Twitter, we're on LinkedIn, we're on the social platforms, just having a bit of a conversation. I drop in ideas between each other. So I thought it was only just really for me to dedicate a little bit of a section in my weekly update to kind of discuss the community people that I follow and the kind of things I've been looking at over the last week. So on that note, let's flick over. The first person I want to call out is Pete Gallagher. I've been speaking with Pete in a virtual world now over the last few months, and Pete, I'll say it now, Pete's inspired me from an IoT point of view to do so many things like the robot arm, the Raspberry Pi bits and pieces, and I follow Pete, and all I can say is he's a fantastic guy to follow on social media, so look him up. Again, I'll flick over to his Twitter, but one of the things I wanted to call out is something that I'm going to definitely be getting onto, is that for the last few months, Pete has been writing some Pluralsight courses on IoT as part of the AZ220 exam. So you'll know from my previous post that is something that I'm personally looking at learning about. I can honestly say I haven't found the time at the moment, and you can probably understand why, but it's definitely on my radar. I've got my robot arm tucked over here on the side. I got my Raspberry Pi, my breadboard, all my IoT sensors on the shelf behind me. That's going to pick back up fairly soon, fingers crossed, because I really want to use this content that Pete and others have put together on the IoT developer certification. So wanted to call out Pete. Thank you, Pete. Great content, really fun guy. Follow him, like and share his posts. You're going to learn a lot if you do that. There's Pete's Twitter. Like I say, I've been following Pete now and speaking with Pete for the last few months. In fact, we're going to be recording the next In Conversation with Pete next week, so expect to see a little bit of a video dropping next week on that. So yeah, thanks, Pete. Next group I would like to call out is the Azure Live team. So again, if you're following me on social media, you'll see that I follow these guys. So Liam, John, and Pete all clubbed together to do these shows, Azure Live. So they got a couple of shows. And they recently brought in DevOps Derek as well, so Derek Campbell is part of the team, and I believe Derek, he's off now, he's just had his first baby, so congratulations on that, Derek. Hope to see you back soon, obviously in the community, but obviously we completely understand why you've disappeared for a little bit of time. There are other pressing commitments, I think is probably fair to say. But the Azure Live team, wow, I mean, it's just something that's close to my heart, just the whole look and feel, the style, the concept is just doing stuff, talking about Azure, but in a fun, in a retro way, in a gaming way. As you know, if you follow any of these guys, so Liam, John, Pete, and Derek, you'll see that they've all got their areas of expertise. They've all got their other things going on in the community. And I think when they come together and do this show, it's to be honest, it's something I think as a community, if we can grow this, it's going to be a fantastic concept. And I really would love to help be part of those people that put it on a pedestal, because it is really great to see. So I put it there. Follow the guys on Twitch as well. I mean, I'm on Twitch, so follow me as well, of course. I've not started doing much live streaming as yet, but follow the guys. They recently had their first live stream of the year with Izzy. So that was yesterday, day before. Great fun. Quick interview, quick chat around the community. Jump into a game of Among Us. Now, who can turn down the game of Among Us? And it's all in good fun. Speak a little bit about tech and gaming, and just generally just get to know each other. So yeah, tune into those guys. Like and subscribe to all their socials, and I'll guarantee you it's a great experience. Yeah, so thanks guys for the content that you are creating. It's really great to see. Next call out is it kind of goes without saying. I think Gregor Suti and Richard Hooper, two powerhouses in the community at the moment from an Azure point of view. They've just obviously come off the back of arranging as part of the team that arranged all the festive tech calendar, and there's no stopping them. I mean, at the end of the day, they're looking now to produce this AKS Zero to Hero series, which personally I'm absolutely going to be following, because it's something I've done a little bit with Kubernetes and containers, but it's certainly something that I could learn and will learn more from. So as you know, Gregor and Richard have got a lot of things going on. I know they've got the Scottish Summit coming up fairly soon, I think in February. Check that out. But I just wanted to call out their YouTube as well. So it goes under the name of Cloud Family. Again, go back to my blog. I put all of these links and links to Gregor and Richard's. So Gregor, aka is Azure Greg, if you don't know, and Richard goes under the pseudonym of Pixel Robot. So all their links to their Twitters are in the blog post. So reach out if you're not already. I'd be surprised if you're not already following those guys, but really follow them. Really excited to see this series that they're planning on doing. I'm assuming over the next few weeks or months there'll be. I think the concept is Richard's going to be taking Gregor through. So Gregor's being the novice, Richard being the expert. So it's kind of one of those interactive showing you how AKS works, what it is, and what it's all about. So really looking forward to that one as well. So yeah, thanks guys for that. Cloud with Chris, so Chris Reddington, so he's a fellow Welshie. He called me out last week in his video, so I'm returning the favour, but it's not just a like for like. I've been chatting with Chris again on social media, and he's recently gone to a similar format to I'm trying to produce in terms of doing a weekly video. So Chris works, I believe, as an Azure engineer in Microsoft. So really, I just wanted to put him up there. If you're not following Chris, give him a like and a subscribe. No doubt Chris is going to be he's going to be doing very similar things to myself, so I'm no doubt we're going to have a chat and hopefully do something together fairly soon. We've spoken about it on and off over the last month or two now, so he's a really great guy, some great videos. I've been listening to his podcast, I've watched some of his videos that he's got on here. Great content at the end of the day, and that's all we need as part of the community. It's really about understanding what's going on in all parts of the world and getting lots of different views. So like and subscribe to Chris. You're not going to be disappointed. And the final community call out is Ane, and I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce your surname, Ane, but again, we chatted a little bit over Twitter, and I jumped into this when I came off the back of my 100 Days of Cloud challenge. I noticed that she had put up 100 Days of Kubernetes. I thought, Kubernetes is something that, you know, like I said, done a little bit about but not really looked at it in any in anger, I think it's probably fair to say. So I tuned into her YouTube channel, and wow, superb videos. So I'm calling her out as somebody to follow, especially if you're looking at Kubernetes at the moment. There's some great videos on there, and I believe these are going to be added to as she gets through her 100 Days challenge. So absolutely go follow her, like, subscribe, give her a shout out. I think all the support she can get. Now, clearly there's a lot more going on in the community than I've called out there, and there's a lot more people that I speak to in the community than I've pulled out there, and everybody's doing fantastic things. But I thought I'd like to make this a regular thing each week if I can, just to really give a little bit of an idea out to everybody who I'm following, who I'm speaking to, the kind of things that interest me and what I still need to learn. So on that note, that's my community call out section. So I don't know what time we're looking at now. We're looking at about 20 minutes again. I'm not very good at keeping these videos short, am I? So that'll be something I'll have to learn. So last section then that I wanted to drop into really is Jonnychipz on the side. So this section is really talking about the kind of things that I've got going on. So you know that obviously I'm part of the Welsh Azure user group. You know that I've done 100 Days of Cloud Challenge. You know I work for BT, all of this good thing. But I thought to give you a little bit more of an insight into my life, in amongst the very little spare time that I tend to find myself with. Obviously, I've got a great and brilliant and lovely family, wife and kids. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of an insight into what I've got going on. So, again, for those of you that have been following me on Twitter and LinkedIn, you'll know that I've been setting up my office, my studio over the last, when was it? Since October, really. So October, yeah, about three months or so now. It's a little bit tongue-in-cheek. It's a great space to work. I'm deliberately doing the things I'm doing because it's just fun. I'm not trying to point score or say look at me, but I just find this so entertaining. I mean, the latest addition to my setup was a little projector. It's not an expensive projector from Amazon. My brother-in-law and sister have bought me a big mount on, which I don't have a picture with, but it kind of sits up there and bolts to the wall. So I had this big mounting arm that they bought for me for Christmas. I thought I could mount some lights on because the ring lights that you can see there aren't powerful enough, so I'm going to be upgrading them at some point. But when I had this mounted, I thought, well, what could I mount to it? And a good friend of mine saw that I bought a projector for my daughter for Christmas and kind of set it up in her bedroom, and he said, well, why didn't you get a projector? And it was like eureka moment. So that's exactly what I did. So I got a projector, hooked it up there, so that acts now. So that big Jonnychipz logo you can see is obviously projected, it's animated, and essentially that's my fourth monitor. So on this computer I've got monitor 1, monitor 2, monitor 3, and that is now monitor 4. So, of course, I can drag and drop things up there. I've also got a Fire Stick plugged into it. So, on the side over there, I can flick HDMI selector. So, put the news on, watch a bit of TV as I'm working through the day, working on designs or whatever. And it's a bit of fun. It's a bit of fun. I'm contemplating shifting these acoustic treatment panels out slightly so I can make the projection a little bit bigger. But, I mean, it's just something that I'm just having a little bit of fun with. So there we go. There's a picture of me with the Jonnychipz logo, and there's me watching myself. I'm not indulgent at all, am I? I'm honestly not. I just put it up there just as an idea. And so that's what it looks like in 4 monitor mode. So I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, it's taken me a bit of time to build up this setup. I had the initial idea a little while back, so it's been a little bit of a labour of love for those of you that have been following me on this journey. I've had some great comments, really positive, supportive comments on the setup. It has been, obviously, tricky in some ways and fun in other ways. But I've really got to the point now where the setup is doing me well. It's a great place for me to come into, sit down, working day. I can just crack on and do my work. It's just a nice place to be. Other things, so 3D printing. For those of you that know, I recently bought Flight Simulator and tried to control it with a keyboard, took off, was unable to find the engine throttle, crashed into a mountain. So I realised I needed to get a yoke or a joystick, and I found on Thingiverse a design to print one, the ability to buy an Arduino little circuit board and really create my own joystick. So I thought, in the interest of IoT, that's exactly what I'll do. So, of course, for those of you that have been following me, I've got 3D printer sat by the side of me. I printed off, so this is the handle and a few of the little brackets and no idea what that is yet, but I'm sure I will soon. And the base, so what I've gone for a two-tone colour. You'll see the classic purple and blue. So blue gripper, purple base, and this is the same PLA that I've used to do my robot arm. And I think if you heat this up, well, I know if you heat this up, it turns pink. So these are the thumb buttons, and there's the trigger. So I'm thinking if I'm playing it, eventually it'll go purple. But it's just a little bit gimmicky. But it's things to think about when you're doing these kind of things. So that's what I've been printing off on the 3D printer, including a purple Stormtrooper that needs a little bit of rubbing down there. It's still got a bit of the support stuck to it, but I just wanted to show you the kinds of things. If you're not familiar with 3D printing, it's great fun. And a shout out to Pete again, because Pete was the one that kind of tipped me over the edge to go and buy one back a few months back. And I printed a drawer out. There we go. So we'll end on that note, printing a drawer out. I really do hope you've enjoyed this brief update. Honestly, I enjoy trying to put this content together. I hope it's of use and value to you. Please like and subscribe to my channel. It means so much. Obviously, I'll reach out to you in the community. You can reach out to me. If you're one last thing, if you're looking to speak on in conversation with, please don't forget. I've got that Sessionize form up on the website. Check my blog out for the links. I think I put it as a menu item at the top. So click that. Reach out. Get in touch. We'll have a chat. And until next week, I've been Jonnychipz. Thanks for watching, guys.